Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show, training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse, Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Liberty jumping to music with our horses who are our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles course. Sadie doing obstacles without rein control. Training miniature zebu bull Rusty to pull an implement.
Sadie, my 3-year-old Morgan, and I'm Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl, and Alexis, who rides Sadie a lot, is trying for the first time today our pole bending exercise with Sadie. We're going to do it at a walk, then maybe a jog, probably not a canter today. All right, Alexis, you've got a microphone on. Tell us what you're feeling or how you feel that you can get better lightness, or explain to Sadie the pattern. Patterns are usually pretty easy for horses if we're consistent. What's a little bit tricky here is getting her to understand that she's to get really close to these poles but not knock them over, and when we want transitions and we want lead changes, we want them to be automatic, but at first we'll ask for them. Okay, let's go. This is really exciting. This is fun stuff to do with horses. This is gymkhana, rodeo type stuff.
Wants to go at her, Rosie.
So we're doing a very slow walk. Alexis has chosen to start on the right side of the poles, that is on the east side. Now she's going to leave.
Walk.
The hard part is usually the end poles, but Sadie's giving us good lateral flexion. That was nice, at least at a walk. As we pick up speed, it'll probably be a little harder to get that tight flexion around the poles. Okay, now she's going to take her final walk down the west side of the poles. Alexis will be looking ahead where she wants to go. Sadie should be taking a straight path, which she seems to have no problem doing on this part of the pattern. And Alexis will turn around, rest for a moment, and then try it, I believe, at a jog. Okay, and now we're going to get her focused because we're asking for more speed, is I guess the thought processes here. Sadie's looking at me as she went by the camera, but that's okay. It'll get old and she won't look at me anymore. We need for her to focus on what Alexis is asking for. Right now, it's weave. See, a little bit farther away from that pole around the end pole. It's always a little bit harder the faster you go, but we'll work on getting tight, and we'll probably be practicing some barrel racing too. Try to tightly flex around those barrels or whatever is representing the center of attention as we gymkhana with our Morgan horses as ranch versatile horses. Well, that was, to me, really good, except she kind of looked at me as she came by the camera. Did you have any other feelings of distraction?
No.
All right. What do you think about a canter?
I mean, she doesn't know how to do flying lead changes.
Right, so you're going to do simple.
So what does that mean?
That means that you're going to canter down, and then you're going to go around the gray pole at the end, and then you're going to come down to a trot.
It just goes at a trot. I think we could, definitely do a faster trot through this.
Yeah, and then you pick up the canter again, if you can.
You mean on the way?
With each pole, yes. It may be that the poles are too close for that. In which case, we'll know what we need to work on in the larger arena or on the tracks without the poles. But some horses get kind of upset if you've asked them to come down to a trot in order to change the lead, and some horses are real good about it. Let's see what Sadie says. And then once you come down to the trot, okay, if she doesn't want to go into the canter again because she's already at the next pole, we'll know what we have to work on. Okay, now Alexis is choosing to go around our fenceless track around our manure bins. She'll be coming here in a moment. There you go. There you go.
Go. Trot. Easy.
All the way around. Good. Better this time. She's learning to hug that pole. So we're going at kind of a faster than a jog right now. Now let's see if she can canter back down the straightaway. I hope she won't do. Good. That was a good slow down. Good. Very nice. Now, let me explain what might be the next step. So as soon as you got to the last pole, which is the gray pole at the end, you brought her down to a trot. Can you get around that pole at a canter? And then in time for the next pole, bring her down to a trot. Because she's not ready, we think, for a flying change.
Right. Well, yeah. Okay, sure.
All right. One small step at a time. Figure out what are the prerequisite skills and go for it and see what you need to work on. This is just learning, teaching principles.
Too small.
Here she goes. She's going to go all the way around, and I added extra sand a few weeks ago on the driveway because I knew we were going to be doing track work, and I wanted to be as non-concussive as I can on their bare feet hooves. Good. Let's see if she can get around. Okay, that's a little more. Good. She's giving you nice flexion, not gaping at her mouth. Going around that last pole better. Her first pole, actually. Better than she did the first couple times. Okay, and now we're going to canter back down. Not using a crop. We don't want to crop our horses to get speed.
And trot.
There, nice slow down.
Ooh, careful.
Very nice slow down. Okay, come on up here. Let's talk about what you feel might be her next step, maybe today, maybe another day. What's your feeling? She did great, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, as far as next step, I think just teaching the lead change in general. Maybe out of context of this, at least at first, because it gets a lot harder when you have to do so many in a row.
Exactly. So, it's almost like skipping, which Semi, her herd mate, yesterday, did quite well. We had taught her that last year. We didn't think she'd remember, but she absolutely remembered, and it was beautiful. It was a lot of fun. So, okay, then I'm going to put these poles back along the side of the driveway. We leave them here when we know we're going to be doing this exercise so that they're easy to bring back out in the middle. And why don't you go to the arena right now and see what you can do with getting a lead change on a figure eight or on a straightaway. Now, there is some conflicting thought about that. A lot of people say teach a figure eight, use a figure eight to teach a flying change at the cross of the eight. Some trainers I have seen on RFD say you're going to get a failure to change in the back if you do it that way. They're saying the better way to do it is use a straightaway, which you could just go ahead and use the north-south or the east-west tracks here for that, and cue them and on a straightaway. And they're more likely then to change in the back as well as in the front. But I've heard conflicting theories about that, and so we can just see what works with Sadie. Okay. Would you like to try it in the arena first, in the traditional figure eight?
My 3-year-old Philly on learning how to do simple changes of leads. So we want to make sure that we can go back to the poles and get her to ultimately do flying changes of leads around the poles.
Ask her to just do some figure eight in a trot first with some nice, trying to get some good changing of the bend, just to kind of give her an idea, a little heads up of what, because I haven't done this with her before.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. Good. Small steps. And Alexis does have on small spurs. If she needs to catch Sadie's attention with a leg pressure in a certain place, she'll just tap her with the spur. Figure eight requires flexion requests. We want it done softly, lightly. Alexis has a nice light hand on Sadie. I would say that maybe Sadie's going a little bit too fast. There you go. Now she's slowing down. Good. Good.
Cancer.
Good. Yes. Nice. I would guess this is the first time we've ever asked Sadie to do that, and she actually did it quite nicely. Yes.
Girl.
Oh, she's transitioning nice back into the lope after the simple change. Yes, that is very good. I've seen other horses have quite a bit of problem with that kind of transition down to a jog and then back up to a canter, whether it be on the right lead or not. Just asking for those transitions so close together is challenging.
I feel like she has a little bit of trouble, bending in this way to the left. She kind of resists it with her neck. So I guess what I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit of pressure kind of rhythmically, kind of on as with her stride, to just try and get her soften up a little bit with my spur, I mean.
Good, good. Now, her mother is also a little bit stiff to the left or in the counterclockwise direction, whether or not that's inherited or not. Usually horses are better in one direction than the other. So Sadie and her mom Eve are not as good in the counterclockwise or left direction as they are on the right. So yes, we do need to pay attention to that and work especially on getting softness and lightness and flexion in those directions. Today is a sunny day, so we have shade and sun in this arena, and I'll be zooming in and out as necessary to try to give you a clear picture of body language and transitions.
Something scary over there.
Yeah, we're right on the city border here, so we have some backyards in that direction. Oh, it's a critter. that isn't even the pool sweep or anything like that. It was some kind of a squirrel.
It was a kitty.
A kitty, okay, a kitty. So, okay, those happen everywhere. But ranch versatile horses have to respect you and give you their focus and not look upon these critters as predators. And if they do, we're just going to progressively desensitize them to every single potential predator we can. Yes, again, we kind of lost the bulbous nature of the figure eight.
Yeah.
But we did get transition. Now in doing figure eights, you try to do bulbous on both ends and cross in the same place each time.
Try.
Good. Very nice.
Trot.
All right. She seems to be changing in the back okay too. Did you feel any kind of bounciness in your transition?
No, not at all.
Yeah, she seems to be changing quite well in the back. So, all right, maybe, do you want to try a request for a change of lead today on the perimeter of the ring fence circle without doing a figure eight? But that's a little bit challenging. It's a nice tool to have.
How do you mean, just doing it from like a counter, from a...
Yeah, what you're asking for is you're going to be cantering in with the correct lead, and then you're going to maybe even come down to a simple change, and with your leg pressure request, you're going to ask for a counter canter, which is the lead that...
I feel like that might be a little more, asking for a counter canter might be a little more difficult. Maybe I could start in a counter canter and ask her to change.
Okay, well, let's try that. Now, let me tell you why we want a counter canter. Some times where we might want to use it. If you have a horse that's rushing, that's, let's say, loping too fast, if you can ask them for a counter canter, that'll generally slow them down. Another way to slow them down is to do some circles, or to do some figure eights, or to do some serpentines. But counter canter is a useful tool to be able to request that transition, although a lot of people would say wrong lead. It actually is a training aid to be able to get your horse to counter canter. So let's see what happens. Again, this is the first time we've done this with Sadie. Alexis is suggesting that she try to canter along the arena fence in a large, or let's say half of an arena circle, with the counter canter, and then with the click, with the leg pressure, with the giving of the proper rein, so to speak, ask for what we call correct lead.
I'd like to let her walk out just a little bit.
Okay.
It's okay.
Sure. We're never in a rush. That is no way to train, to be in a rush. Okay, I think maybe I'll pick up the right lead first, and then
Maybe I'll just try going in a figure 8 to get her to counter canter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I see what your thought process is there. As you change to the other lead, instead of letting her go into the other bulb of the 8, you'll stay in the same bulb. I believe that's what you were suggesting.
Got it, girl. And then I'll switch bulbs here. Or change leads, I guess.
Okay, you changed leads, but in order to be in a counter canter now, you'd have to stay in the same bulb. Counter canter, and she lost the gate because it was uncomfortable to her. Yes, but yet I see the trainers trying to use the counter canter as a training tool quite often. So we're going to work on that. They're certainly capable of counter cantering. It's just not the most comfortable way for them to. Yes, you had it.
She's starting to get a little anxious. She was speeding up. She's getting kind of worried. So
yeah, all right. Just make sure you stop on a good note. If you're ever feeling anxiousness, stiffness for whatever you're asking, what we do is we go back to something that we know she can do and not be anxious about, and quit on that note.
Walk.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask of a horse to do a simple change and then in the next breath do a counter canter. But we did get a few strides, and we're going to work on it. Their horses are real good at repetitive tasks. Well, today Alexis is out on Sadie, getting Sadie familiar with our HVD West jump course. Sadie had a little bit of an introduction last year, then it started raining, so we stopped coming out here. Now we are going to give Sadie an opportunity to show us that she can focus on a very easy jump. We're going to make sure that Sadie is focused on what Alexis is asking from her. We've already checked out the turf and marked the places that we feel we need to stay away from on account of gopher holes that need to be filled or wet spots from irrigation that need to be dealt with. She's refusing. Yep. Already.
She's refusing to trot.
How about serpentine? Yeah, serpentine to get her to go forward. Well, very unusual for Sadie. But here we are out here on this green turf in the wide open spaces where she usually just gets to graze with her herd mate. So she's giving us some attitude here. How are we going to deal with that in a natural horsemanship technique? Getting forward motion is very often the most important request.
Seems like every movement but forward.
Rosie's out here on Sam and going to give Alexis some guidance, which she's already given her by demonstrating Sammy's abilities to jump out here. But we sure didn't expect this kind of attitude from Sadie. We'll deal with it. We'll show you what we do to deal with it. There. A little bit of tapping on her hip with the long lead line. That's part of her halter. Okay, and make sure that you kind of watch where you're going there, because Sadie's a youngster. She may not be watching where her feet are.
Yeah. With Sadie, you're not going to have to worry so much about rushing, but more the stopping, I think.
So just getting her to jog out here in the wide open spaces where she usually just hangs out and grazes with her herd mates, you know, is a request that we want to make sure we can do. We can get the right answer for. And while Alexis doesn't have jumping experience, she's watched
couple of RFD programs on the issue. She's watched Rosie work with Semi out here on the same task. And what we're going to try to do is get Sadie ready to approach the low jump. Approach this low jump without refusal and without rushing. We don't really expect rushing from Sadie. Not today. But we'll see, and you'll see. We're going to keep this lesson short because Sadie already did some other warm-up work today about lead changing. We're trying to teach her how to change leads on our track and in a figure 8. So this is just like a little extra frosting on the cake today, just to see how she's going to behave when we ask her to give us forward motion, lateral flexion, and focus out here in the HVD West jump area.
So should I,
Well, if you don't feel like she's ready to even approach the jump, I'm moving the camera because she's backing into the camera. Okay, that's something we just have to deal with. Then don't approach it. Go around it. Go up to it. Stop. Back up. Approach. Retreat. The jump could be treated today just like an obstacle. You use the techniques, the natural horsemanship techniques that we have shown you many a time in the past in teaching obstacles to our horses. All right. That was more like a step over, but at least not a refusal.
and not rushing.
And she didn't do any rushing. We'll leave it up to Alexis if she wants to stop on that note or try to get another correct answer. Yeah, we kind of all agree that we want to stop on a good note. We want to stop with the right answer, and she's had quite a long lesson already today. So we're going to show you her progress as we progress in teaching Sonnenschein Sadie, Shadrach Sonnenschein Sadie, my 3-year-old, to negotiate these homemade, with vinyl fence materials and styrene pipe, stadium jumps that we have out here on our turf pasture area. Goodbye for now. Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl at Minmore Farms, and thank you, Alexis, and thank you, darling Sadie.
Shadrach Stables at Minmore Farms. Sadie and Eve. Sammy. Rusty and Susie. www.thesokolows.com